on like 20-minute tangents. We're just like, oh yeah, like this.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the point of a podcast, though, is to talk about it.
If you don't want a tangent, go watch the film.
Right?
What's poppin', y'all? Welcome to Post Finale. I am your host, Ankit Madhira. I'm an actor and a musician who has not seen a lot of films, so to make my friends happy and potentially provide a new perspective on some popular films, I am on a quest to change that. I am never on this quest alone, however. This week, I am once again joined by streamer and editor of this podcast, so the person that makes me sound good, Ant Servellon. Ant, welcome back. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Hi, everybody.
We now have a name to the face. Or
Yes,
a face to the name. Yeah.
Yes, the big question, she was like, do you want to talk or anything? I'm like, no, I want to be a silent protagonist. Like, that's why I have everything typed when I'm editing. I type everything in.
It is fun. I love going back and watching the edits whenever you're just like, Ankit messed up, or like, he did not realize this, or like,
Yeah.
you just chime in and he's just like, oh, Ant had words.
Yeah.
There was a thought.
Yes.
But yeah, no, welcome back. You were also here last week.
Yes.
And fun peek behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually filmed on 2 separate days. Unlike a lot of episodes where we filmed them on the same day.
Right. No, we're just wearing different clothes.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep the illusion that we do it every week.
Yeah. I 100% do not work ahead. Okay, the scheduling has been bad. I'm currently not ahead, and it's bad.
No, I get you. I'm in the same boat.
Nah. All right. Before we jump back into Gladiator, where we picked off and left off, I have to ask you the question. I feel like you know the question. You've edited these episodes, so I have a feeling you know what's coming. But if you could play someone in this film, who would you play? The answer cannot be Maximo.
I can't be Maximo.
You cannot be Maximo.
You know, just because I like to go to the gym a lot, I'll be Muscles.
Okay.
Just because I that's like the physique I would want. Like when I'm at the gym, that's how I see myself in my head.
Yeah. No flaws.
Yes. Just all muscles, no brain.
Almost. Keep the brain.
Yeah.
We like the brain.
Yeah.
But nice. Yeah. I mean, like, we know very little about Muscles currently.
Right. Well, a bunch of characters except for our 2 main, maybe the sister a little bit, yeah, but everyone plays smaller roles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I would want to play Commodus. I feel like that's pretty straightforward. I want to play the villain.
I was about to say, you like to play the bad guy on D&D, don't you?
I am currently in my D&D campaign. Kind of chaotic.
That doesn't surprise me.
But it's just like, it's also like that annoying thing of whenever I'm like, let's cause some chaos. I roll like a 4. And I'm like, I guess we're not doing chaos today. So like, I'm like, I want to cause drama, but I can't because the dice say no.
All right, here's what you do. I did this for 1 campaign. I never did it again because it was super hard to keep track of everyone's shit. I told the dungeon master because I played I'm about to say thief. Damn, slipping my head. A rogue. There you go. God, I couldn't. I played a rogue, right? And I told the dungeon master, I was like, hey, bro, whenever my allies get like potions, can I like secretly steal them and be like, oh, and then be like, you look in your bag and it's gone, and I'm like, oh, here it is. And I hand it off and see how long it took them to realize that I was stealing their shit. Like, and the master's like, yeah, I can work in it. So Ankit's D&D crew, don't listen to this part.
No. Move on.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. What's up, D&D crew? Hope you're doing well. Cool. Yeah, I mean, jumping into it, where we left off, what we last talked about, I feel like we should just delve into it. There's a whole lot to talk about in this episode.
Yes.
Based on I've seen things. Woo. So we just learned from Gakis, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Gakis, that the actual way to run the city, the beating heart, is not the mob or the Senate. It's the sand of the Colosseum. It is the people, and it is who the people love. And so immediately at the end of last episode, I was like, great, we know how Max is going to get his power. Is that he is going to win over the people. That's our power struggle. So we're at a small fight, and there are kids dropping things onto the men. It looks like they were like throwing like rotten fruit or something.
Yeah.
As one does. Spaniard is now being saluted as he walks in alone to seemingly fight 8 different people. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? And I was like, yeah, no problem. He was like, I understand this world. We kill. Here we go. He picks up 2 swords and then double kebabs a man after, a whole bunch of other fighting happens. But he double kebabs the man and then pulls out the swords and beheads him. And the crowd doesn't seem to like this. The crowd is like, I don't like this as much. And they're a little tense. And then he throws the sword up at like the fancy table. I guess this is like the guy that's like running the fights. And then he goes, the iconic line, "Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Isn't this why you're here?" Now, about this. This is one of the few things I knew about this film. Was this line.
Classic line.
Classic line. Storytelling-wise, makes sense. However, I always thought that it would, I don't know, it just felt more grandiose in my brain. It felt, I thought that this had to happen, like, it was going to happen at, like, the Coliseum. Or, like, at a bigger venue. Or, like, I don't know, just even his delivery, like, it was great. It fit the character. In my brain, it was just always bigger. Because whenever I've seen anyone make fun of it, it's always bigger.
Yeah. My theory behind this was that, I mean, I feel like since they were booing him, because people like to believe they have choice in everything, right? So people were booing him, and then he's all like, "I killed the man. What more do you want? I killed the person that was trying to kill me. What more do you want?" Which makes the scenes a little grander, but I hate the placement of this in the movie. There's another line that comes up later that isn't as well known, but I feel like is a little more impactful. But that happens in the Grand Coliseum.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This one just it didn't feel like it hit the way that I expected it to hit.
Yeah.
Still, scene-wise and everything, storytelling, it was the right place for this to happen based on the scene that happens next. This needed to happen right here. I'm not saying no to that. I don't know. It just felt like it was missing something.
You're probably just desensitized. Like you're so used to hearing it, and then now where you see where it's come. Like there's a lot of times where I watch anime and I'm like, that's the meme, and it pulls me out of the anime.
Yeah. It didn't like pull me out because I was just like, oh, that like still makes sense, but also like, huh. The meme's a lot bigger.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. Like I said, it's probably the desensitized. You saw the meme first. Versus me, I've seen the movie, then the meme came later.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw the meme was junior year of high school, during one of the football games. We had like fake mustaches for some reason, so we stuck them on. And there's like an image of me, and I'll see if I can find it. And if I can, toss it up in the edit right here.
For sure.
But if I'm able to find it, there's this image of me just like with my arms stretched, standing in front of the band with this fake mustache, and my friend took my head and then stuck it on Maximo, and just goes, "Are you not entertained?" And so that's the first time I ever like saw this, was like my friend just made me into the meme.
Yeah. See again, that's desensitizing you.
Exactly.
Like as a kid, best line of the whole movie. Oh my god, when he says that, it's like, oh wow, like he's such a rebel.
But who rebel?
Yeah.
Anyway, the rebel spits. He is disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
But then the whole crowd starts to chant Spaniard. Yay! Moving on. We talk to Proximo, and Proximo asks Maximus what he wants. Proximo tells him that he is good, but not that good, and he could be magnificent. And Maximus is just like, I'm required to kill, so I kill. That is enough. Incredible delivery. Just like,
oh yeah, well, I mean, you gotta understand, Maximus is a soldier, so he is to follow orders, and that's what he was bred to do.
Exactly. It's just, this is my job. I do my job. Mm-hmm. And we learned that this is enough for the provinces, but it is not for Rome. Mm-hmm. Proximo info dumps that, the emperor, series of spectacles, blah, blah, blah. We know that. Quick refresh, 150 days of fighting. Woohoo!
Yes.
And it was to commemorate his father, Marcus Aurelius. Mm-hmm. Now, Proximo finds this amusing because the Marcus Aurelius, the all-wise, the all-knowing, is the one that closed us down.
Yeah.
Maximus seems to be at a bit of a loss for words as this entire speech is happening. This is all a monologue of information from Proximo, and we learn a lot from Proximo in this. Mm-hmm. So we learned that after 5 years of scratching a living in flea-infested villages, we're finally going back to where we belong, the Colosseum. You should see the Colosseum. 50,000 Romans watching every moment of your sword, waiting to deliver that killer blow. The silence before you strike, the noise afterwards, it rises up like a storm, as if you were the thunder god himself. Incredible delivery.
Yes.
This man is such a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know who else could have possibly played that role.
Well, I mean, you got to look up to the point what Maximus gives great speeches right now. Commodus has given great speeches right now. Joaquin Phoenix. So we had like 4 different speeches by 3 different actors, and they all hit.
And they all hit. Like,
yeah.
Hey, that casting director did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, casting directors, hire me. No. I mean, like, please do. But if I'm right for the part. But like, hello, I'm available. So, just incredible delivery. And as this is happening, I have the same revelation that Maximus does. Proximo used to be a gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Makes sense. I do find it interesting that, he used to be a gladiator, but that also explains why his gladiators seem to be the better gladiators.
Yes.
Because he doesn't just throw them out there until they're ready to fight.
Yeah, it's revealed, I think, later in the movie. But yeah, you can see that he cares for them.
He cares for them.
Yeah.
And like that's what I'm noticing in both of his speeches.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, look, at the end of the day, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
Right? But we have a choice of what we're gonna do. Are we just gonna lean over and accept death? Or are we gonna do this? And fight. It's not exactly the best thing, but like, hey, you will earn the respect and the love and admiration of the people.
Yeah.
And like, he seems to treat them with respect. He doesn't treat them as slaves. In the interactions that I like, sure, he does in the sense of like, they're still in the like caged transport and things like that, right? But like when he talks to them, it doesn't feel like he's ever talking down to them.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very interesting thing with Proximo, where you might see it with like some of the other characters, and we don't see it as much because we just don't see them as much. But like you kind of get it from some of the senators and some of the other people that like they look down on the slaves, whereas Proximo doesn't look down on the slaves. I mean, his first big speech ended in him saying, we applaud you.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, hey, like I recognize that, like, yes, I'm your owner and, I'm the one that's making you do this. But like at the end of the day, we're all at your mercy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see it on, and even in the movie, you see it on both. It's like two sides of the same coin. You see Commodus who's looking down at everybody, and like, I mean, he threw away his father. He threw away one of his best generals because he knew he was for his father instead. And then you have someone like Primos who's like, I respect you, and I'm gonna take you where I want to take you, and you go from there. Versus Commodus is like, I want to keep you under my thumb for as long as possible, and if you defy me, you're dead.
Yeah.
Which is great storytelling. Like, it's great. Like, for as old as this movie, it's old. For as old as this movie is, what 24 years, 23 years old. Like, to see storytelling like that, like you see one side and then you see the other side of how people are treated.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes the stories that were being told in like the 90s, the early 2000s, they're better than the stories that are being told now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a big thing is, and like, we talk about this over on Flip the Scripts a fair amount with Steven, but the audience isn't stupid. And I feel like a lot of storytelling now treats the audience like they're dumb. It's not the actor's fault. It's not even sometimes the writer's fault.
Yeah.
But like, Dune 2 was the last film, and like I don't watch films a lot. Like I recognize this. So I'm sure that there are others, but like this is just my experience. But like I said this over on that show, that's the last one where they let me sit in the uncomfortable and let me not know the answers right away.
Yeah.
That I have seen. That's like new.
I actually 100% agree with you, because I'm trying to think of a movie right now. I don't know.
Maybe the new DreamWorks one with the robot and the fox.
Oh, the Wild. That one's more kid oriented, like heartful.
Sure, but like the storytelling might still be incredible. But like I haven't seen it to be able to know. I know that it's an incredible film. I just haven't had time to go see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. The only one that kind of like sticks in my brain is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Which I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
My summer was stupid busy, and so I didn't get to go see it in theaters. And so now I'm just like, well, at this point, I'll watch it at a point, and like I'll just stream it.
It is now on Disney Plus.
As of I think today, actually.
Yesterday, I believe yesterday or today.
I don't know. I don't have Disney Plus
like,
but that ain't stopping me from streaming it.
Right, exactly. I'm trying to think of a movie besides Dune. Dune is a real good one, especially because I've seen both. Now that I've seen both of them,
yeah,
they don't hold your hand at all. Like, they kind of be like, all right, here is our setting, go.
Yeah, and they're like, you will figure stuff up, and like, you'll figure it out, and the things that like you don't know, we'll give you an answer, but like we'll give you an answer in 45 minutes when it becomes relevant again.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Like, even I saw Kung Fu Panda 4 as well.
Oh my
And like
God.
It was an enjoyable film.
Yeah.
But like
action-wise,
I do this for a living. I do this for a living. So I figured out the plot of the film in the first like 15 minutes, and I was cool. Done. But I was like, great, this is how this is going to go. But it was still enjoyable because if I took myself and put myself in a kid's point of view, it didn't hold my hand.
Yeah.
It didn't match up, I think, to any of the first three. But it still didn't hold my hand. Some of it was fairly straightforward, but like, it still had the twists, and like, if I was a 6-year-old kid, then like, this would have been amazing. I And
I feel like
27
lately
in 2 days of recording this.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna be 31 next month, so I'm aging myself here.
Happy early birthday.
Right? No, but like me and my friends, we have, even with Steven, we tell him we have the um seals, the art, like flashing colors, happy scenes, this and that. Like, we have more of that mentality. Because I think I was talking with Steven, because I finally started watching an anime he wanted me to watch.
Which
So
one? He's been trying to get me on a lot of them.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, I haven't started that one.
Okay, so I started it, right, and I finished season 1. I just finished season 2, and I literally messaged him like, "That's it? Like, really?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're mad about that." I'm like, "Bro, this villain has been here the whole time, bro. Like, I like arcs. I like things to be wrapped up and finished. I don't like to wait. like now I have to wait for another season, and it's like, what, like, and everything is not resolved. Like, I understand having a few loose ends here and there, which is fine. But when everything's just left open booked, I'm all like, bro, like, where's my resolution? Like, we went through all these.
Be
Yeah,
patient.
yeah. I gotta wait
till
the
resolution will come in season 3.
Yeah, magically, or whenever they want to wrap it up. Like, okay, but like, it's just the seals where it's like, yeah, the animation's good, the fight scenes are good, the level ups are amazing, like, they're all great. But I'm like, I would like to have a story to make it like this anime. I'll recommend this anime, like, that has to have a story well written in.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's not easy by any means. To write a good story is not easy. So anyway, back to the good story that we have not been talking about for the last like 8 minutes probably on this movie podcast. So we learned that he won his freedom. Proximo did. A long time ago, the emperor presented him with a Rudicidus. What did he present him with?
I believe he presented him with the armor, right? With the 2 horses on it.
Yeah, I didn't catch the specific name. No, what he presented him with was a wooden sword, which was a symbol of their freedom. But I didn't catch the term that it was for that freedom. Let me see. Term for gladiators' freedom. Does that give me anything? The rudis.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So
The
yes.
rudis. So yeah, he presented him with a rudis, and again, this was they decided English subtitles were not needed, and so me trying my best.
But I just think where it's like, you have subtitles on and they speak like a different language, and you think they'll put the subtitles in the language, or like they sub it for people to read, and it'll be like, speaking Korean. Okay, cool. I guess I'll never know what they said.
Yeah. My favorite is laughs wholeheartedly, and then like you look at the screen and the person isn't laughing, and you're like, who's chuckling?
or my favorite one, music playing softly, and they're like, there's music. Like,
oh, music. Like, wait, what? Now I gotta listen. Yeah. So we learned that he touched him on the shoulder and he was free, and Maximus starts laughing, so saying, you knew Marcus Aurelius? Proximo snaps, and he's just like, I did not say anything about knowing him. He touched me on the shoulder once. But Maximus is also kind of like laughing at this with this energy of like, bro, you ain't gonna believe this. Like, let me tell you a story. Like, that's the energy that he's laughing with, of like, dude, check it out. Maximus tells him that he wants to stand in front of the emperor, as you did. And I was like, ooh, the motivation to become great. Very interesting phrasing, though, on Maximus's part. Because Maximus does not want to stand in front of the emperor for freedom. He wants to stand in front of the emperor for revenge.
Yes.
But like, very smart of Maximus to be like, I just want to stand in front of the emperor. He makes it seem like it is this.
Yeah.
Maybe off screen we learn, and like Proximo actually does know everything about Maximus's life. I don't know. Like, it is possible, but we aren't told. that Proximo knows Maximus's life story at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I believe he doesn't want to reveal yet. Like he's trying to not play his whole hand yet.
Yeah,
because
he I don't
does.
feel like he's played his hand yet. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he plays his hand. He will play his hand in this episode of the podcast.
Yeah. But he's still. I think he's still testing him to see if he's like, are you really an ally or are you gonna screw me? Because I mean, later in the movie, there's a lot of political side, but we'll find out.
I believe it. The plan, ladies and gentlemen, sneak peek behind the curtain. I am trying to get a person who is well versed in the world of political things, and studied political things as the guest for the whole political aspect of the movie that happens at the end. So we'll see if that happens. I'm just assuming there's a lot of politics. I'm sure that there's probably a little bit more of fighting as well, but like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
otherwise we see like 3 fights in the whole film, and I'm like, I feel like that ain't the film Gladiator.
Oh no. That's why I'm excited for the new one.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But so, it's just like, cool. We have the motivation to be great. Proximo tells him to learn and listen from him. He wasn't the best because he killed quickly. He was the best because the crowd loved him. Do Proximo's eyes look really cloudy to you as well?
I don't know if that was like, I don't know if it was the actor or if it was on purpose.
Yeah, but they look really cloudy. They didn't look like they look really hazy.
Yeah.
More than just like someone had gray eyes. Like it was true like hazy eyes.
You know that meme, that 1,000-yard stare? I feel like it's more like that. Where he, like, I mean, granted, you gotta understand he was a gladiator, so I guess they're trying to show the pain in his eyes. It's
possible. Best. Yeah, I don't know, but like there was just something different about his eyes.
Yeah.
Scene. Yeah, but he says, "Win the crowd, and you'll win your freedom."
Mm-hmm.
Maximus says that he will win the crowd, show them something they have never seen before. Proximo is excited. He says that they shall go to Rome together, have bloody adventures, and when enough men have died, perhaps you will have your freedom. Mm-hmm. Proximo tosses him a new set of armor, which is the famous 2-horse armor.
Yeah.
It's black with 2 little cute horses. And I love that there's like all of this thunder in the score, but the skies are blue.
I guess it's the hint at, a storm is coming.
Right. Like, again, score-wise, incredible. But I just found it really funny because I was like, this entire time, and like it is a constant, and like I think I have a note later about it. The score, incredible.
Yeah.
Such a good score. Just a fantastic score. And like thematically it makes sense, but it was just really funny because the transition shot was of the sky right when the thunder hit, and I noticed that the thunder hit right when I was looking at a bright blue sky.
Oh. Yeah, again, I think it's more to set the stage that a storm is, or a plot is brewing or whatever,
Yeah, it's like, because it's also still not like crashing thunder, it's like the rumbling thunder is coming. Like it's the storm is still a bit farther away.
Yeah.
As this scene progresses, the thunder in the score becomes louder.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, which is great storytelling. And again, like, I feel like movies were meant to be watched in a theater. And in the theater, you can't be like, wait, was the sky blue? And you go back and rewind it and you watch it and you pause it or whatever.
Oh, like well, hey, I didn't pause it on that one. I got that one initially.
Oh,
that was not a paused moment. That was a I'm watching and typing quickly moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mainly pause when there's like huge chunks of monologue because I'm like, okay, I need to know what's going on here.
Exactly.
I need to know I need to type what this conversation is, and they talk faster than I can type. Mm-hmm. So, contrary to popular belief, I cannot type 90 words a minute.
Right. Which is, I mean, it's to catch up.
Not my skill set.
Yeah.
I can do like probably like a solid like 60. I don't know, but like I don't do poorly. But like if anyone's the Patreon, if anyone is a patron on the notes level, you can see all the beautiful typos that I have as I type furiously into my computer.
God,
Anyway.
you need to get those things that the courtroom people have and learn that. 'Cause
learn that, yeah.
yeah, learn a whole new skill for a podcast. Cool.
Yeah. Woohoo! Hey, I've learned many skills for this podcast. Typing, I've gotten better.
Yeah.
Spelling, not so much, because I think I wrote tosses as TOSEES.
Technology has ruined us.
No, I know how to spell tosses, but
yeah, I know. I just think when we see it misspelled, our brain corrects it because it knows the right answer.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, so the friend bestie over here says that his country, his home, is somewhere out there. His wife cooking food, daughter bringing in water. Will I ever see them again? I think not. And Maximus says, you will see them again when you die. And Bestie's just like, I think so. But then I will die soon. They will not die for many years. I will have to wait. But would you wait? Of course. You see, my wife and son are already waiting for me. And then Bestie hits him with this. You will meet them again, but not yet. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, it's going to be real sad if Bestie dies. Bestie better not die. Bestie better get through. And I'm jumping the gun a little. Muscles better get through. Otherwise, I'm going to be sad if one of the three of them die. I like the three of them. They got a fun little vibe going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, hey, look, storm clouds.
Yeah.
They were coming. They were just in the distance.
Yes.
Speaking of storm clouds, I think that is a beautiful spot to take a quick intermission and then come back to Rome. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale. I hope you are all enjoying this episode, and if you want to gain access to more bonus content, like access to my notes and access to some of the tier lists that I make and help suggest films and things like that, all of that can be done over at our Patreon, and that can be found at patreon.com/coopforge. So that's patreon.com/CO_OPFORGE. Signing up for any of the tiers gets you different types of bonus content depending on the tier that you sign up for, and a shout out here on the show for every patron that signs up. It really means the world to us, and it helps us grow this show and helps us be able to put the money back into this show to make it a better experience for you, the listeners. That is our entire goal here at Co-op Forge. So thank you all so much if you are considering doing this. Now, if you want to help the show in a non-monetary way, that is fantastic as well. You can do so by just talking about us and sharing it with a friend. Just reach out to a friend and be like, hey, you love movies, or hey, you need an excuse to watch more movies. Check out this show called Post Finale. The host is silly, he's an actor, he's confused most of the time, gets a lot of guesses wrong, but overall it's a lovely time and some interesting discussions about some iconic films. I think you'll really enjoy it. It really does help. And be sure to talk about us on social media and follow us on social media. That really helps out a lot as well. If you're looking for the show, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Post Finale Pod. And then you can also find us at Co-op Forge on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And that's at Co-op Forge at CO_OPFORGE. And we post content not just from Post Finale, but from the other shows here on Co-op Forge as well. So that includes Flip the Scripts, and that includes Seattle Across the Pond. So be sure follow both of those channels. Again, it's at Post Finale Pod and at Co-op Forge, CO_OPFORGE. But just thank you so much for listening to this episode. Wherever you are, if you're enjoying the episode, if you're listening on YouTube, please please hit subscribe. It really does help us out. If you're listening on a podcast app, that's great as well. It doesn't matter to us where you're listening. We're just so thankful that you're listening. But if you're listening on a podcast app, please leave a rating. It really does help us out. Please leave a review and hit that follow button. You can also turn on notifications both on YouTube and on the podcast apps just to be notified when new episodes come out. It really does mean a lot that you are all listening to these episodes, and thank you all so much. So let's get back to the episode without further ado.
Or like, I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and none of them are like straightforward. Even like Joe Rogan, for example, he's not straightforward. He's just asking questions, and then they go on a tangent, and then they throw up a video real quick, and then they go back to like, oh, what were we talking about again? Like,
Yeah. It's like, see, this one is just like, what are we talking about? Oh, right. We're here in the film. Here we go.
yeah, exactly. Let me apply this text real quick.
Oh, good.
All right, ready when you are.
Cool. So the kids are out, and we are watching the caravans heading to Rome, and the gladiators come from all over. Oh yeah. Hi. Here, I'll redo that for you so that you can
yeah. You want to start that over?
Didn't we?
Yeah.
And we're back. So the kids are out. They are watching the caravans heading to Rome. Many gladiators come from all over. The men are transported in. Proximo sees a Marcus Aurelius statue, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the most logical sense.
Yes.
He says, "Good to see you, old friend." Kisses his feet. "Bring me fortune." Maximus is finally back in Rome.
Yes.
Apparently, he had never been to Rome. How had he never been to Rome? This is still bothering me.
Well, you gotta understand, he was a general, right? When we first meet him, and
yes.
they've been at war with barbarians and trying to keep the peace. You got to understand.
12 years.
Oh yeah, I mean Rome was
12
so.
Years. No. But he's only been at war for 12 years. This man is probably in his 30s.
Maybe they picked him up off the farm. I don't know.
But like, how have you never been to Rome? You know Commodus. You know Caesar. You know Lucilla. How have you never been to Rome? This pisses me off so much. You listened to the last 2 episodes. You edited the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
You know how much this annoys me.
To be honest, I never thought about that until you said it. I'm like, oh yeah, huh? But then again, I think Rome, they just see Rome as a city. But then again, yeah, I mean,
how has he not been there?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Especially being a general, like,
and being so well known by every single senator. You are so well known. You're the top general of the Roman army, and you were telling me you have never been to Rome? What the hell? I understand why Marcus Aurelius is dead. Like, what?
I can't poke any holes in your logic right now.
Every now and again, I have a theory that just truly makes no sense.
Yeah.
I feel justified in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I can't fight you. I can't be like, well, maybe. I mean, he could have been trained elsewhere, but yeah, if you're this close with damn near almost everybody, high end and high up, it's how
have you never been there?
Yeah.
You're telling me that you are so important that everyone has come to the battlefield to talk with you?
Yeah.
Woo! You, my friend, are not a general. You are the emperor at that point. Anyway, we see the Colosseum. It's massive. And there's just a beautiful line. Didn't know men could build such things. I was like, yes. Proximo tells Maximus to win the crowd. Commodus, meanwhile, is out there earning the Creepy Dad of the Year award as he leans in super close to his kid's face, like uncomfortably close, while he's sleeping in a very slow, demeaning, like just weird-ass manner. And he just goes, "He sleeps so well because he is loved." Dude, take a step back. If there are any new parents listening to the podcast, sure, watch your kids sleep. Maybe don't be creepy about it.
I don't know why I thought of that fluffy scene. You know, I'll just sit in there and watch them sleep.
Fluffy?
Gabriel Iglesias.
No. I know his comedy very well, but
yes.
I'm missing. Wait, which joke are you talking about?
The one where like he's getting back at his son and he wakes him up early even though it's Sunday for school.
Oh yeah. I'm just sitting there watching him sleep. When he drops him off to school on a Sunday. He's Sunday kid. I love Fluffy.
Yeah. I just think of that. I don't know why. Where it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's for the dramatic effect of the scene where it's like he's trying to pull the child more his way, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, at least Fluffy's, I was watching him sleep, was like, ooh, I'm about to mess with this kid.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was funny. This one just seemed weird.
Yeah.
Continuing with how the rest of this scene goes,
Mm-hmm.
Commodus just has a weird energy around him in this scene, and I don't like it. I ain't here for it. Incredibly well acted, incredibly good storytelling. It made me uncomfortable, which was probably their goal. So, like, good job. But, like, yeah.
I mean, it's the point of the villain to make people feel uncomfortable. Like he has a presence around him, which is, again, like you said, very well acted. I believe so. He
did his job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he nailed this. I mean, there's a lot of actors that hit the nail on the like they hit the nail dead on, and it's so great to rewatch as an adult now, and it's like, wow, that's some good acting, because some of these films and you look at the actors and you're like, what were you thinking?
Yeah. A lot of times I try to at least give the actor a little bit of leeway, being one myself. I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't your fault. Maybe it's the lines. And then sometimes like I go and like listen to the line again and I'm like, okay, the line did do no favors. Right? But every now and again I'm like, that was just terrible. Like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
My friend Eric was saying sometimes he and his wife now have a really hard time watching TV shows and movies because like they've been seeing me act for years and like they know what I can do, and they're just like, okay, so why are we wasting our time watching this when they could have hired someone that we know that's better?
Exactly.
And so then they'll just turn it off, and I'm like, "Aw, the sweetest compliment anyone's ever given me." I was like, "Thank you." I mean, like, fair enough. I'm not here to tell you what to watch and what not to watch. Like, if you want to watch the other stuff, go watch the other stuff. Like, but like, oh, thank you. Anyway, so Lucilla comes in and tells him that it's late. Commodus says that he will make Rome wonder of the ages. This is what Gracchus and his friends do not understand. Lucilla looks like she's mixing some powder, some type of tonic, something. She gives him the tonic. She gives him the tonic, and Commodus thinks that the time is right to announce the dissolution of the Senate. And he, is like, Lucilla, I should, right? The people are ready. And then she just goes, I think you need your rest now. I'm like, shut up, child, go to bed.
Yeah.
And Commodus is like, will you stay with me? And we find out he is still afraid of the dark. And he's like, always. And she's just like, I won't. And then he's just like, then kiss me. She kisses him on the forehead and says, sleep, brother, and briskly exits. Two things. One, she seemed very uncomfortable in this moment. And two, that did not feel like the kiss that he wanted. And that made us incredibly more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's all we're gonna say about that.
Yeah. Watching it as an adult, I'm like, what is happening? Like, I didn't realize this as a kid. What's happening? How did this go over my head?
Yeah. Don't do that. Moving on. We see a man breathing fire. Haha, we're back on the streets. Woohoo. Tomfoolery time. The gladiators are walking through the streets, and the women are draping themselves over them. Prostitutes.
Right.
You might have to bleep that one. I don't know. Gladiators make it to the Colosseum. It's massive. People are taking bets, as one does. The Emperor wants battles, and I don't want to sacrifice my best fighters. Proximo is saying this. He seems quite unhappy. And the crowd wants battles, so we give them battles. And he's like, you get the Battle of Carthage. And he's just like, the Massacre of Carthage. Tells them to round up all the beggars and the thieves. And apparently they've already done that. And Proximo says that if you want to give away the best gladiators in the whole of the empire, then I want double the rates. Proximo gets hit back with, you'll get your contract rates or you'll get your contract canceled. Don't like it? Crawl back down the shithole you came from.
Right.
Fair enough. Yeah. Then Carrot Man puts on a bad red wig, and until I actually know what his name is a bit later, he's Bad Red Wig Carrot Man.
Yes.
I don't know. Something along those lines. Yeah, it's a bad wig. And he walks away. gladiators are all just hanging about, just waiting. And a younger kid notices Maximus and beckons him over. Maximus joins him. And we confirm that this is the Spaniard. And the kid says, "They say you're a giant. You can crush a man's soul with one hand." And Maximus is just like, "A man's skull? No, a boy's." And then they just share a chuckle. What? Okay. We notice the new armor. And then the child asks, "Good horses in Spain?" "Some of the best." To his left, you have Argento. And to his right, you have Scotto? Skippo?
Scotto.
Okay, I think I had it right. Scotto.
Yeah.
They were his horses. They were taken from him. The kid says that he likes him and will cheer for him. And, he asks if he is allowed to watch the games. And the kid says that the uncle says that it'll make him stronger. And Maximus asks, "What does your father say?" Kid's father is dead. And then the servant comes up and calls him Master Lucius. And Maximus clocks this and says, "Your name is Lucius?" And he says, "Lucius Ferris, after my father." And I was like, oh. Based on Maximus's face, is this someone who fought alongside Maximus at one point? Does Maximus knows this kid's father? If so, how has he never been to Rome?
Just let it out, man. It's fine.
Because the kid is in Rome.
I doubt the kid has left Rome yet.
The kid looks like he's 8.
Yeah.
Maybe, but doubtful. So he moves back and he hides a bit. And now they are inside the Colosseum. They are being brought up to the floor. They are taken to the armory. They're all allowed to get the armor. Maximus picks out a spiked helmet, and I was like, is this supposed to be like an iconic helmet or something? I don't know.
I believe they picked it out because it had the face plating, so he can cover his face.
Sure, but I don't know. It was just such a slow reveal of putting on this helmet and then him turning to where I was like, is this like an iconic thing of like this is his helmet kind of deal? Like I didn't know.
I mean, maybe it's just a getting ready for combat kind of thing, showing the. I mean, going back when they were setting up the fight, Cartes was a slaughter technically.
Oh yeah.
And that's how it shows. Prismos is that I want to protect my best slaves. Why are they sending in there? Because he knows anytime he sends slaves in there, they could potentially die.
Oh yeah.
So that's how you realize he's showing care for like I want to protect them because that battle is extremely rough.
Yeah.
So I guess people who
throwing my best slaves into the massacre.
Yeah. And I could potentially just lose all my best slaves right here and now, and it's over. Like my contract will be fulfilled, but I lose these slaves who were generating me money.
Yeah.
But another thing is
you better fights, but
yes.
The Romans don't care. Yeah.
Going back to the hand holding thing though, like they didn't hold your hand and say that, hey, this is a massacre. Well, they hinted at it, but they didn't say like everyone died. Yada, yada. They didn't continue on with it.
It was like one line where he was like, "You get the Battle of Carthage," more like the Massacre of Carthage.
Yeah.
And then like that was it. That was all it was. So like if you don't know a little bit of history, you get that one line.
So the people
get the thing in a bit.
Yeah. So the people who know, they're like, yeah, if they were destroyed, they're obliterated. Like the other side lost barely any people. So that's
in history. Yes. Rome didn't lose like many people in that battle.
So that's what I love about this movie is that like if you know your history, or you could just go up and research that battle real quick. Glory of internet, back then we had to use an encyclopedia, but if you know
the internet existed in 2000, it was just slow.
Oh, it was not great. Trust me.
It was not good. But it existed.
And
the internet did exist.
If your mom was on the phone, you kicked off immediately.
Yeah.
Anyways, but like it shows that the people who in the audience know that history, because I mean Rome is well known. Who know their history, they know exactly why that he was worried about it. And why that scene had a little more impact.
Yeah, no, I mean it was great. I just wasn't sure if the helmet was like supposed to be like a specific thing or not.
No. I think he did it for the
Just building the
faceplate.
tension.
Yeah,
Yeah,
building the
it
tension
makes
because
sense of why he picked that one.
yeah,
Cool. So the soldiers are told when the emperor enters, raise your weapons, salute him, speak together, face the emperor, don't turn your back on him, go die with honor. Blah
he
blah
doesn't
blah.
salute by the way.
He does not. Bestie and Max head up to the floor of the Coliseum. Massive. Everyone has the same shield and the spear, and I was like, oh, right, because you were all one army. Sure, makes sense. Orange Head enters, and so does Commodus with Lucilla and Lucius. Hey, look at that.
Right.
He does know the dad and the mom quite well. And I was like, oh, Lucius is that Lucius is Lucilla's son. Okay, here we go. Orange Head says that they're here to bring them the recreation of the second fall of the mighty Carthage. On the battle plain there stood the invincible armies of the barbarian Hannibal, mercenaries, warriors from all brute nations bled on merciless destruction. Commodus, your emperor, is pleased to give you the barbarian horde. And it's our friends in the middle. Yay! They're the barbarians. Hannibal, well done. Maximus, meanwhile, we stop really listening to Orange Head while he speechifies to the people. We're more interested in Maximus and his battle strategies. Maximus asks if anyone's been in an army. Many of them have. One has served with someone. I couldn't catch the name. Subtitles were not my friend this time around.
Yes.
And he was like, great, you can help me. Whatever comes out of these gates, we've got a better chance of survival if we work together. If we stay together, we survive. Open the doors. Out come some chariots. Woohoo! It's battle time. Now, Maximus, calls for them to stay close. A couple of them die, but then, the shields do start working, and the archers aren't hitting as much. They're still hitting, don't get me wrong. They're still making contact, but, the shields are doing their job. The shields seem to be breaking off like spikes off of the wheels of the chariots. And then when one of the chariots comes over, they shift forward and they knock over the chariot, sending the poor horsey to the ground. I don't care about the people. That horse looked like it was in pain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that poor horse. All right. So Muscles gets hit. And, there's a lot of chaos happening in this battle to where it is hard to describe this battle, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of cuts.
I recommend watching the movie. I mean, if you're ever listening to podcasts,
this might be a good moment if you want to get the entire thing. Because, normally I try to explain the battles. There is so much happening in this battle. I don't legitimately know if I can.
Too many horses fall over.
Too many horses fall over. It's a traumatic battle for me to watch. Too many horses fall over. So Muscles at one point does get hit, and he is about to be run over by a chariot, but then Maximus runs and tackles him out of the way. This is where I think Muscles' name might be Haken.
Yes.
Because I think that's what he yells out when he goes to tackle him out of the way. But I'm going to call him Muscles.
If we're wrong, correct us in the comments.
Yeah. If we're wrong, please let us know. What is Muscles' name? And do you think that Muscles is a better name for him than whatever his name is? I think it's Haken, but I'm not sure. The chariots all start to crash, and various things start to happen. First, there is a javelin to a driver, and then the archer gets sliced like some warm butter. Two of them crash into each other. One flies out a door, one hits a pillar. Everyone, including Commodus, then starts to move closer to the edge to be like, okay, what's happening? What's going on? Why are the horses going flying?
Again, so this battle was supposed to be a slaughter, but because
of barbarians,
yeah. But because Maximus being the mastermind general who knows that if we stick together and use our shields to tip the battles, and these aren't real soldiers, these are just
these are also other slaves.
Yeah, they're other slaves who are just in a better position. So he knows that with his strategic mind, he can out-counter them, which is it's shown throughout the whole scene.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the scene where the canister pops up. So there's a scene, if y'all want to watch the movie, there's a scene where the chariot falls over, and you'll see a little canister in the back. It's so great to see nowadays.
I will have to go check it out again.
Yes. So
because I did not see a canister.
Okay, I didn't know. I wouldn't know if I wasn't told about it, but I was told about it. So people who've seen the movie and want to rewatch it, or you could just rewatch that scene. There's a scene where one of the chariots flips on its side, and you'll see a little canister in the back. It's so great to see. But anyways, Maximus just pretty much outsmarted everyone there.
Oh yeah,
even down to the senators were like, "Oh, it's gonna be a slaughter. Like this fool's gonna get out of here. It's gonna be over in 5 seconds." And they're realizing, "Oh wait, they're winning. Yeah, they are winning. They're destroying these chariots real fast."
Yeah, so they all kind of get closer. They're like, "All right, what's going on?" Maximus calls everyone to a chariot, and Muscles rips out the spike from his leg. He's hobbled, but back in action. Mm-hmm. Maximus jumps on a pure, pristine white stallion of a horse and chases down a chariot with a spear. Woohoo! Meanwhile, the others are moving something. It looked like they were moving the chariot. It was kind of confusing because we were cutting back and forth a lot, so it wasn't very clear. Bestie also gets a helmet kill. Let's go, Bestie. And by that, I mean he takes his helmet off and stabs a man with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Incredible. Maximus spears the archer, and then his horse jumps over the overturned chariot that our friends were moving earlier, and the chariot driver cannot do this maneuver. And Max obstructs their view by running in front of them so that they don't know that they're running into the chariot. He jumps over the overturned chariot. Chariot slams into it. Driver goes flying, presumably dead. Now, Bestie tosses Maximus a sword, but he calls out Maximus when he tosses it to him. And I was like, I guess he told them his real name. And if not, what an interesting way for all of the other people to find out that his name is Maximus and not Spaniard. Just in the middle of battle, just like, interesting. His name is Maximus. Cool.
Right.
I mean, obviously, he probably just told him off screen. I just thought that was funny.
It probably did. It just reminds me of I just think of, personal experience. When you introduce yourself, you ask someone's name, and you're sitting there, and you're like, "What's their name again?" And then someone else comes by and be like, "Hey, Ankit!" And it's Ankit. That's right. I feel like it's one of those moments.
Do you want to know what feels worse though? Is like, so I went to an open mic last night, and I had gone there last week as well. And it's a lovely community of people. And when I got there, there were some people there, and they were like, "Hey, Ankit, like, good to see you." And I was like, "Hey, good to see you." Crap, you remember my name, but I don't remember yours.
This is where this is
awkward of like, ooh, okay, decipher, detective mode on. I gotta figure out their name without letting them know that I have forgotten their name.
Yeah, this is where being an adult works. Where I'm literally, this is how I work. If that ever happens to me, and it happens to work at sometimes, I'm like, look, I'm good with faces, but I suck at names. What was your name again? And 9 times out of 10, people be like, "Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it." Like, okay, my bad. Like, I'll try my best to remember it. Just
I will do my best.
Yeah, I'd rather do that than go through like awkward, like prolong it, and then be like, "I've never figured out their name." Oh well.
I mean, I figured out their name in like 3 minutes.
Oh yeah.
It was quick detective work because the detective work involved looking at the sheet of paper that had all the signups. It was very hard detective work.
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't sure if I was going to make it out of that one. So anyway, he tosses him a sword. Meanwhile, Commodus is like, ooh, so scary. Love the sass. Don't really know what's going on. Commodus is a vibe. Maximus calls for a single cover, whatever that means. He charges past and slices the archer's head off. And it was so cool that we needed 2 angles of him slicing the head off. I'm not going to lie. That took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to realize that it was just 2 angles of him killing the same person.
Oh, yeah. My funny thing.
I rewinded that and watched it like 6 times, being like, why are there 2? What am I missing? I'm missing some. No, it's the same kill, but 2 different angles. And it's the first time that has happened in this film. And it was so baffling.
So the crazy part about this scene, too, and people don't think about this. Do you understand how sharp that sword had to be to cut his head off that cleanly?
Oh. One of two things is happening here. One, these swords, incredibly, incredibly sharp.
Yeah.
Two, these slaves are built like warm butter.
No, yeah.
Specifically warm butter. Because if you have the butter in the fridge, it ain't easy to slice.
Yeah.
But it be warm and whoosh.
Yeah, exactly. That's like that as a kid, amazing. Oh my god, holy crap, his head came off. Like as an adult, it's like, you know how sharp that sword had to be for him to cleanly cut through? Like it should get stuck.
No, but also like if it is a sharp sword and you are running at the speed of that horse, which is probably like a good 15-20 kilometers an hour, like you're moving at a pace where like it won't get stuck, but it won't be that just shing. It won't be that clean of a cut unless it is extremely, extremely sharp.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm only grabbing about that scene.
Yeah. Anyway, Commodus ain't happy about this. The others grabbed the last rider and killed him. The barbarians won. Yay! The crowd loves them, and Maximus is riding on his noble white stallion. Commodus just goes, my history is a bit hazy, Cassius. But shouldn't the barbarians lose the Battle of Carthage? Yes, sire. Forgive me, sire. And then he's just like, no, I rather enjoy surprises. Who is he? We learned that they call him the Spaniard. I think I'll meet him. Yes, sire. The horns blow, the royal guard are out. Dun-dun. And we learned the emperor has asked for you. And Maximus just says, I am at the emperor's service. Out walks Commodus. So I was like, okay. Obviously, Maximus can't kill him now. But does he kill him at the end of the movie with the wooden sword that he is given? I feel like that's what's going to happen. Because I don't think that Maximus is going to reveal who he is right now. He will have this conversation, but he's not going to reveal who he is and like what's going on, right? I feel like he's still keeping things close. He's not going to reveal that yet. So I feel like that's how the movie is going to end, is he's going to earn it, but there's going to be this air of secrecy around who he really is. At least with Commodus. We will see. Maximus grabs an arrow tip, and I was like, okay, maybe he is going to kill him now, or at least attempt to. But Lucius comes in and joins him. So he's not going to be able to do anything because he's like, I'm not going to put this child in harm's way or in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Good guy Maximus. Don't kill a kid.
Well, like it's shown in the movie that his objective is literally just to get revenge at the end of the movie against Commodus for, killing his family.
Yeah. So
even the scene prior, I remember watching this movie and thinking like, this may be it. This is maybe where he allegedly kills him, because he was ready to pick up that spear and give a nice stab, and he was probably going to be killed right after.
Dun dun.
Yeah. So, but the kid is what stopped him, so that prolonged the movie. It's kind of one of those things where you're watching it and you're like, oh, I still have an hour and a half left. And he's like, he can't kill him right now.
He's like, I know he can't kill him, but why?
Yeah.
Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Child ex machina.
Yes.
So Commodus says that his fame is well deserved, doesn't think that there is a gladiator that matches him, except this young man. He believes him to be Hector reborn. Or was it Hercules? It was probably Hercules. Now, Commodus asks him to reveal and tell them all his name. And Maximus just says, my name is Gladiator. And he turns and walks away. And Commodus takes great offense to this and says, how dare you turn your back to me, slave? Remove your helmet and tell me your name. That stops him. And then he does the thing that I did not think he was going to do. Whoops. I was wrong. He removes his helmet, reveals that he is Maximus Decimus Meritus, commander of the armies of the north, general of the Felix regions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. Everyone taken aback by this, of like, oh crap, he alive.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe of like, we done goofed.
Okay.
Right? The royal guard move in. And it's that moment where, they gotta decide. They gonna live, they gonna die. Is it a thumbs up? Is it a thumbs down? What do we got?
Mm-hmm.
But when the royal guard move in, let's go Bestie. Bestie leads the charge from the other gladiators, and they form a little protective barrier, or like, you know, a barrier of solitude around Maximus. They're like, he is one of us. We're not going to let you just kill our friend. Now, the commotion is real, and the crowd wants Maximus to live. Everyone is chanting, live, 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 live. Commodus realizes this. Commodus understands in this moment, like, he wants to give that thumb down, but he can't. Because, you know, Maximus has won the crowd. And if he kills them, he loses whatever power he has.
Yes.
So Commodus understands this, reluctantly gives a thumbs up. And the gladiators all start to realize this as well, that like, hey, the crowd loves them, and, you know, they start to soak it in. And it kind of looks like Lucilla and Maximus make eyes, but there's nothing like confirmed. It kind of like the way that the cuts worked, it made it look like they connected to each other, but it wasn't clear if they connected to each other. So I'd like to think that they connected with each other. You know,
Hollywood magic.
Hollywood magic. Now, as the gladiators all start to leave the floor of the Colosseum, they exit through a tunnel, and all the gladiators, all the other gladiators, are all chanting Maximo as they exit. The score, incredible. And that's as far as I've seen. I don't know what the politics are after this, but I was wrong. Apparently, we now know who everybody is.
Yes, so
stuff's gonna happen?
The great thing about this scene is that I want to say it's the midway part of the movie.
It definitely feels like that.
You know their goals and objectives. You know what they're after, what they're both after. He wants to kill. He wants to rule Rome under his thumb. Da 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 da. He has the opportunity to get a good stabbing at it, literally, but the sun blocks him. And then discovering that, oh crap, this is the guy this guy is supposed to be dead, is still alive, and now what saves
him? Now he's coming for me.
Yes, but but the thing that saves him is the crowd.
Oh yeah.
Like, if the crowd wasn't there, then I believe him and all those slaves would have just perished.
Oh, they would have died in an instant.
Yeah, exactly. And
it goes back to what Gakis said in what we discussed at the end of last episode, and brought up earlier in this one, is the beating heart of Rome is the sand of the Colosseum. Because at the end of the day, who needs to love you? It's the people.
Yes. Again, you got to understand, this was their form of entertainment. So it's like you had someone who was supposed to be slaughtered and massacred and turn a battle, the tide of battle over almost in an instant and create chaos, which is what the people want. Of course, they're going to protect the person that is giving it to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm intrigued. My prediction is still the same as in the overarching one. I feel like Commodus is going to get killed at the end. Get killed or overthrown. But I don't know if Maximus is the one that takes power. I don't think Maximus takes the power. I think the power might go to that nephew. It might go to Lucius, actually. But I don't think Maximus takes power, because that's not what he wants.
Right.
He doesn't want power. He barely wanted it when Marcus Aurelius offered it to him. He was like, I need time to think.
Yeah, like I said, it was revealed in the beginning of the movie where he's like, I just want to go home to my farm and my wife and kids. That's all he wanted. At the end of the day, that's what he wants. He's like, I've been away for too long. Like, I just want to go home and rest.
He just wants to retire peacefully. Yeah. That's all he wants. And then when he didn't get that, he's like, all right, great. Now I want revenge, and then retire peacefully. Yeah. That's all I want. Like,
first he wanted to die, but
Yeah. We got over that.
Yeah.
Now we're on the vengeance path.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like Commodus is going to be overthrown. And I feel like it's going to be a combination of Maximus, the Senate, and Lucilla all working together to overthrow Commodus. But there are going to be wrinkles. There are going to be some senators that are more loyal to Commodus, which are going to throw wrinkles into that plan. Lucilla has to play the interesting balance game of he is still my brother, but also like he shouldn't be ruling kind of vibe. But I think like I don't know how all of these politics are going to work out, but that is what I think is happening at the end of this film.
Right.
And I feel like there will be assassination attempts that fail on both sides. There will be assassination attempts of Maximus that fail, and assassination attempts on Commodus that fail. I think that's also going to happen on both sides. But I'm very much in I didn't expect him to reveal himself. I don't know what's going to happen.
I love that's the first like twist of the movie where it's like, oh shit, he does it early. God damn, I have to believe that.
He does it with early. Another hour of the movie left. Like what?
And we still have like an hour and a half left.
We have, I think it's like an hour or like 50 minutes or something. Because like normally I gauge like, all right, credits are going to take about 5 to 10 minutes, right? So I think we have about an hour left.
Yeah, like I said, it came at a perfect time in the movie we're at exactly at the halfway point. Not exactly, but we're near the halfway point, roughly around there. And here's this plot twist where it's like, it is real. I love where your head's at, though. I love where your head's at. Your head's at in a good spot. I'm not gonna reveal nothing because I've seen this movie and I want to see at the end, and that gives our watchers to be like, hey, I gotta watch the next part where this all ends.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I know a little bit of Roman history, but I liked more of like the mythology stuff in terms of like Greek and Roman and like like Percy Jackson, like all of that. Like that's stuff that I love. So like I read a lot about like that, and so like I know like Roman mythology a bit better, but even then not as much as I know like Greek mythology. I got really into Greek mythology in high school.
Right.
I just read a lot of that.
I was in the same boat. But I learned about Rome and all that, and that was like my favorite part of history. Just learning about Rome and the fall of Rome and all that. It's great.
Yeah.
But yes, I love where your head's at, and we'll keep that thought to the end.
We'll keep that thought.
Yes.
We'll see where my head's at next week when we come back and continue talking about Gladiator. But Ant, thank you so much for joining on these episodes, and thank you so much for editing and making us sound good when we have all of our lovely mishaps that you hear all of them on.
Great. Yep.
But if people want to find you on the internet doing things, how can they find you? What do you have for the people?
I'm normally stream on twitch.tv.com. Jedi Ant _ I'm normally there. I try to stream when I can, but with this busy schedule, I haven't been able to. But I'm trying to get back into it recently. But you can find me there. That's normally where I'm at. Or you could follow me on Twitter or X. Jesus Christ.
Still Twitter. I don't know. Yeah, that's the social media platform that I just stay off of.
Yeah.
Like, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find any of like the music and stuff that I do, I mean, shameless plug. It's Ankit _M_ official. But like on Instagram and TikTok and like Facebook, like I don't have a Twitter. I don't plan on creating a Twitter. I'm just staying off of that platform. I don't need to be on that platform. If you need to contact me about official things, go to Instagram, go to TikTok. Like,
Patreon.
Go over there. Patreon's great. It helps us not be in the red for this show. And that is our entire goal, is not be in the red and be able to pay Ant. That's the goals here, ladies and gentlemen. Pay the editors and not lose money. So if you'd like to help us out doing that, head over to patreon.com/coopforge. Helps us out greatly. And until next week, when we learn, I guess, about politics, I don't know, something's going to happen. I'll catch y'all later.
Bye.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale. Post Finale is created, hosted, and produced by me, Ankit Madhira. Our editor is Pranav Nair. The music is by Ankit Madhira and Megan Hutcherson, and the art is by Jarid Rother. If you are all enjoying this episode and want to gain access to more bonus content, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/coopforge and signing up for any of the tiers. You get loads of different bonus content, such as notes and commentary that we have as we're watching the films, as well as some bonus audio, some bonus videos, and ad-free episodes, early access if we get them done early, and different things like that. All of that can be found at patreon.com/coopforge, and that's patreon.com/co_opforge. If you want to help out the show in a non-monetary way, that's great as well. Tell a friend about the show. Just reach out and be like, hey, you love films, or hey, you need an excuse to watch some more films. Check out the show called Post Finale. The host is an actor, and he's funny and silly, confused most of the time, but they have interesting discussions about some popular films that I think you would really enjoy. It really does help us out a lot. Be sure to talk about us on social media at Post Finale Pod on Instagram and Facebook. And you can also follow us at CoopForge, that's CO_OPFORGE, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And there we post content not just from Post Finale, but also from the other shows hosted here on Co-op Forge, which are Flip the Scripts and Seattle Across the Pond. So a lot of fun things can be found over there on our social media. It really, really does help us out a lot. Thank you to everyone who has already done this. Thank you to everyone who will do this in the future. It really does mean a lot to us, and it helps us create better content for you, the listeners, as we grow. It really does help, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale, and I can't wait until next week. And until then, I'll catch you all later.